cut out their living guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks. We're going to murder those lousy bastards. We're going to push them. Now on their bleed, and I'm ready to inflict the grief, and the least of me is still out of your race. The killing machine's gonna do the deed until the river runs dry and the last breath leaves. Chin in the air with a head held high, I'll stand in the path of the enemy line.
Tango, tango, tango!
My pride for God is and joy.
Tango then, tango then!
This is my soul. My eyes are steel and my gaze is warm. I am a warrior and this is my.
Good evening, Facebook. This is Old Veteran. And that was just a little intro into home defense. Hope you enjoyed it. I tried to make it a little bit of fun. Let me get this garbage off and we'll get into it. Did that for a reason. I hope you like the music. It's one of my favorite songs, especially Trained by I Am a Warrior. Does everybody hear me okay? Bubba, you hear me? Bubba, Scott, Mike, anybody? Y'all hear me? I hope that showed up. Now we got a few in here. Hopefully we'll get some more. Thank you, sir, for the 5x5. This stuff gets heavy. Let me finish getting this off. Yeah. And it gets hot too. Thank you, sir. Got the clay carrier on. Got it all tacked out. Now, the reason I did that is because I've seen a lot of videos where, and all that stuff is fully equipped. I've got 2 ammo pouches with 8 fully loaded AR-15 pouch or AR-15 mags, and steel plate AR-500 front and back. It's my firearms instructor tack vest, but that patch comes off. Oh, I ripped off my patch. Well, that ain't no good. I'm watching the commander's patch came off. Well, I'll have to take it off and sew it back on. No big deal. No big deal. Whew, that's a little better. Breathe. Now, tonight's on home defense. And the reason I did that little intro was because there's a lot of videos out there. And for those, if you didn't see the little intro, hopefully the ones that are here liked it. After the video, go back and go ahead and watch it. I did a little tactical intro. Hopefully it showed up pretty good and you could hear it. And yes, when that firing was going on, yes, that was actual live fire. No, it was not from the AR-15 because I'm not going to raise my 5.56 rounds. It was from a 9mm pistol that I fired into the berm out here. Completely safe. But the reason I did that is because there's a lot of videos out there. And I'll take these off and I'll look at the chat room as I go, but I know the light is causing glare. And but the reason I tacked up was because there's a lot of videos, and you can watch them on YouTube, and they'll tell you, oh, well, hey, I'm an expert, or I've taken a weekend class, and somebody breaks in my house, I'm going to gear up and put my BDUs on, and my vest, and my carrier, and my ammo, and my harness, and my pistols, and grab my AR or AK-47 or shotgun, and I'm going to clear my house. I'm going to pie the corners, and I'm going to hit them with the tack light, and I'm taking them down. I'm taking them out. I'm going to clear my house. Bull crap. I don't care how good you are. I've had plenty of training, police and military. I have cleared buildings. I have cleared rooms. I know people that have. I know there's police officers, tactical, that do it. I know the military does it. But I've never seen anybody in any situation, and even in my training, clear a building or a room by themselves. You do it as a team, and you already know what you're going in against. So if someone's breaking in my home, just like that little skit show, that would have been someone breaking into my home. 3:30 in the morning, dark 3:30. I'm woken out of a sound sleep if I happen to be in bed by then, but most people are. I'm woken from a sound sleep. And people say that they're going to get up and get all this gear on and all that tack gear and all this stuff and load up, and then they're going to go hunt them down in their home. It's not going to happen. You don't have that kind of time. Surveys and different research have shown that if you're woken from a dead sleep, especially if you're in a REM cycle, it can take anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds, somewhere in between there, some longer, but usually nobody less than 4, to be completely awake. For your mind to register what it just heard, that yes, someone just kicked in my downstairs front door or broke in the glass door in the back, and get up. By that time, count it out: 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000. That's pretty quick. But if I just kicked your door in 6 seconds, I'm already in the house somewhere. Chances are I'm already heading up the steps, because if it's at nighttime and I know you're home, you think I'm just going to kick in the door and meander around downstairs with my flashlight looking for your DVD player, or if you're real ancient like me, a VCR player, and just wait for you? No, you probably already know you're there, so I'm heading upstairs. I'm going to take you out. So we're going to meet somewhere, either at the top of the stairs or in the middle of the stairs. So that tacking up stuff, it's not going to work. You're not going to have time. That's completely if you are going into a situation that you already know ahead of time. Like I said, if you're responding as a TAC member or a police officer, and it's always in a group. So what you're going to do for home defense is, if you believe someone did break in, or let's say someone actually did break into your home, all right, you've just been woken up, you've got that few seconds to wake up, realize it. Hopefully you got your bedroom door closed, locked up. So you're going to get up. Hopefully you have whatever you're going to use for defense, whether it's firearm, or if you don't believe in firearms, pepper spray, anything along those lines, taser, something like that. And you're going to hunker down. You're going to call 911. When you call 911, you put them on speakerphone, and you get down behind your bed, because most bedrooms that people have, one side of the bed is away from your bedroom door. So you want to be on the opposite side of the bed, get down by the bed on your knees, have your weapon ready, put your phone on speakerphone, put it on the bed, and tell 911 someone just broke into your house. You are armed, you're in your bedroom, and you're staying there. You need the police to respond. However, you are prepared, if they enter the room, that you will shoot them in self-defense. Now, a lot's going on in that matter of a few seconds. Your adrenaline's starting to pump. You need to try to remain as calm as possible, but keep 911 on speakerphone. Do not hang up. You stay with them until the police actually arrive and enter the home, and then you let 911 know that the police officers are there. They confirm it, and then you can hang up. This way, everything that happens in that home is being recorded, that you can use later on as defense if need be. If you hang that phone up and you go one-on-one, then it's just your word against the corpse. So you may have a pretty good chance winning, but you don't have any hard evidence to prove that this person was there illegally or anything else if you're not on the phone with 911. The other thing is, when you have home defense. There's a lot of criminal activity out there everywhere. I don't care if you live in the city in an apartment, if you live in a home, if you live in a rich neighborhood, a poor neighborhood, or you live out here like me out in the middle of God's country, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by 400 acres of woods, and I have 2 neighbors, 3 now, on a half-mile, 1-lane road. My closest neighbor is 150 yards away. The next one is over 250 yards away. So even out here, you can still have home invasions, and they are occurring more in the rural areas now as time goes on, because a lot of people live in the rural areas are older. And a lot of older people, including like myself, are on medications. So a lot of these home invasions, they're looking to break in to get medications and anything else they can. They want money and medications. It's not like the old days when you left, everybody was gone. Johnny Burglar would sneak in and steal your TV and some jewels and stuff like that and leave. Now, broad daylight, they're kicking your door in. Just happened this past week in Lexington, Kentucky, where I lived for over 20 years. My daughter lives in there. I've got friends that live there. It just was on the news. A 34-year-old male was in an apartment complex, and he broke into several apartments. He actually got into bed with one lady. She was able to get up and run out, call the police. The police were on their way. He broke into a couple others, and then he broke into one, and the last one he broke into was the last one he broke into, because the gentleman in there at 6:45 in the morning had a handgun. He broke in, and the gentleman shot him several times. When the police arrived, ambulance arrived, he was pronounced dead when he got to the hospital. So he won't be breaking in anymore. But he already broke into the lady's apartment. Imagine what he could have done if he wanted to. This gentleman had some kind of mental problems. He was a 34-year-old white male. Interview with other people said that he had got broke up with his girlfriend or wife, who was expecting a child, and he was distraught. The store down the street said that he was in and was causing problems. A lot of times he had some screws loose, obviously, but somebody did stop him. This gentleman was facing no charges whatsoever. And I'll tell you why, because it was self-defense, but I'll read you a couple of excerpts here on some things in Kentucky. And one of them is that we do have a law that protects us, that if I use force, I cannot be criminally charged if it was in self-defense, nor can I be civilly charged. So I can't even be sued by the people. We're protected by that here in Kentucky. A lot of states don't have that. And we do have the castle law, and we do have stand your ground law. So Kentucky is one of the better states, in my opinion, as far as rights for the people, not just the criminals. With all that said, the basics of home defense is not relying on your firearm. All right, you need to be prepared, you need to be organized, and you need to have a plan. And your plan's going to change. Like me, it's just me and my pup, which she's hiding in the other room because she doesn't like when I go out and shoot at the range out here, and let alone right outside my front door where I fired. So she's going to be hiding probably for the rest of the video. She's mad at me, but she'll get a treat afterwards, so she's fine. But anyway, lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But, planning. Have a plan. If you live by yourself, that's one type of plan that you need to have. If you're married, that's another plan that you want to have. And if you're married, you need to teach your wife or husband how to fire a firearm if you are going to use firearms, or how they can also help you. If you have children, that's another aspect of home defense that is to deal with, is a little bit rough, especially since children don't usually live with your parents in the master bedroom. If you have an upstairs, kid's bedroom is probably down the hall a little bit. So in that situation, yeah, you're going to have to leave your bedroom. You're going to want to go out by their door and position yourself at the top of the steps as best as you can, as fast as you can, to stop anybody coming up those steps. Remember, even if you are trained and you had law enforcement experience or anything else, if you're a civilian like me now, you're a veteran from a police force, you're no longer in that organization. You are no longer a sworn-in police officer. So even in that situation, when you're waiting at the top of steps, you're not going to be trying to challenge anybody coming up those steps. You're not going to be telling them to put their hands up, drop the gun. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your life and the life of your family. So if you know 100% that person coming up the stairs is no one that's supposed to be in there. And you make sure your target, and I'll get into identifying the targets and lights and all that other stuff. Once you identify it, that you know that it is not anybody in your family, you don't challenge them, you put them down. It's as simple as that. You have to defend yourself and your family. You're not going to try to wrestle these people or I'm going to tackle them. You don't even know how many people could be in there. It could be one. Now, the average right now, they're saying usual home invasions are a group of at least two. Now they're up to 4 or 5. So these arguments that people are putting out, you know, for you don't need 30 round magazines and you don't need a pistol that has 15 rounds, 6 rounds is enough. Well, that's pretty good, but if 6 people break in, that means I better be a real good shot in the middle of the night to hit each one of them, and they better all go down with 1 shot. That's just ridiculous. But that's another video. I'm not going to harp on that. Now, as you make up your plan, like I said, you have to think of your home and where you're at in your living situation. Do you live in an apartment complex? Do you live in a duplex with a neighbor right next door to you? Do you live in a home like now in the cities where you walk out and 8 feet away is your neighbor's wall? Or do you live in an area where you got some land between them? Or do you live like me, closest neighbor 150 yards, the other one 200 yards? Doesn't make any difference. If I fire a firearm and I miss and it goes out my wall or goes through the glass sliding door, it's going to travel that 200 yards. So I could still possibly hit my neighbor. Chances are slim, but I can still possibly hit them and injure them. You have to take all that into consideration, especially when you're choosing a firearm and your ammunition. Again, I'm not going to get into what firearm's better. Some people will tell you the AR-15 is a great home defense weapon. Yes, it is. The AK-47 is a great home defense weapon. Yes, it is. An M60 machine gun is an awesome home defense weapon. Of course it is. Of course, you're going to mow down several homes in the process, but I guess you could worry about that later. Shotguns are a fantastic home defense weapon, and they have numerous types of ammo that you can load up. And I don't care how big and bad you are. If I have a 12 gauge, which I'll bring up some here to show you, and I even load that with birdshot. If you get hit with that, I don't care how big and bad you are. I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not hanging around even if you're capable. You're probably not going to advance forward unless you're on PCP or LSD. Then again, I've got 6 more shots after that. So it's still going to put you down. So, and the chances of that going through compared to the double-aught Bock 9 pellet that I use and I load with, a lot less. Of course, this 9 pellet coming out, that's going to put somebody down pretty hard. Then again, it is going to go through walls. Fire a 12 gauge double-aught Buck into some stuff and you'll see what it can do. Shatter cinder blocks. It will go through boards, 2x4s, and everything else. So, and depending on how close you are in your spread. But have your plan and get it organized and train and get your family. Run drills just like a fire drill. There's no difference. You have a home invasion drill so people know what they're doing. Now to get on to some of the other areas that I want to talk about, it starts outside your home. You need to step out of where you live and look at it like that's a place you want to come in and rob. That's a place you want to come in and invade violently. Look around. You have bushes and everything outside of your windows that would obscure the view to people looking at your home to where a burglar could be behind that. You want to get rid of that. Best thing to do is put some big rose bushes or some thorny bushes down there. They hurt and people won't want to be around there. Next thing you want to have is good lighting outside. If you don't want to leave your porch lights on all night long, I've got LED lights out there that I leave on, and they cost hardly pennies to run. Get you some motion sensor lights. I have a couple of those out on my trees that will light up. Put them out there. Criminal doesn't want to be seen. Okay, even if they're brazen in the daylight, they still look around before they try to kick a house in. They don't want to be seen. So if the lights come on, chances are they're going to run. Have you a camera system? They're not that expensive anymore. I have a camera system. I have cameras outside my home. I have one up in my living room, and I have the DVR and a monitor in my other room. You can set up an 8-camera system under $400 if you look around. They're not expensive. Plus, it records 24 hours a day for me, and just when the hard drive, which is a 500 megabyte hard drive, when it gets full, it just records over it. So, and I have them set for motion, so they're not going to record unless there's movement. So, and that's another thing that'll benefit you because now you have video. Plus, it also benefits because I have one right outside. So, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and someone's beating on my door, the little peephole in the door, you're not going to see everything if someone's hiding to the side. But I can look in that from the doorway and I can look at the monitor and I can see the whole front. So if someone's hiding over here and one person's knocking on the door, I can see them. So that's beneficial. They have the doorbells now that are out. They do cost quite a bit of money. That links to your smartphone that you can put up and you can monitor your home while you're away, or somebody rings the bell, you can be in your bedroom and look. You can use that. You can buy cheap, just a one camera and put it out there. And if you have internet, just a little receiver, and you can put that receiver with you and carry it around the house and you'll be able to see. The other thing about the doors, people get in the habit, and if you have children especially, someone knocks on the door, it's just common sense, even in the daytime, you open the door to see who's there. Or you look out the peephole and you see one person and you open the door. You don't see the two on the side. They may be dressed in coveralls, or they may be dressed in a mechanics type uniform with some patches and stuff on, and a hard hat and even a safety vest. Knock on the door and the guy says that he's with the gas company and they got a gas leak. They have to come in and check the homes. Sounds like a valid reason. Problem with that is I don't have gas. I'm all electric. So there's a first flag. But a lot of people won't think on that real quick. Second thing is there could be a gas leak. Maybe there's a gas line that runs out here, which I know there's not, but in the city maybe there is. And they want to make sure it's not leaking into the home or the basement. That's viable. But when you're looking out the peephole and you see him there, you see the vehicle. Is there a utility truck? Or is this guy walking, parked, he's can say parked down the block? That's fine. He's with the gas company. Call the gas company. Ask them, do you have people in the area for a gas leak? I got someone knocking on the door. Take them a few minutes to pull it up and tell you yes or no. If they tell you no, call the police. Just tell them, wait a second, I'll be with you in just a second. Make sure your doors are locked, bolted up, barricaded up. Go in your safe room, your bedroom, and call the police. So just common sense, it falls back on a lot of things. Preparation is the biggest part of defense for a home. All right, it doesn't fall down to your weapons and everything. It's common sense and preparation. Your lighting, your doors, your front door, wood doors are fine, but like mine here, it's a solid steel door with just a peephole in it. And I have a deadbolt, regular lock, and I do have a local alarm system. That's another thing is alarm systems. I have local alarm on my door and all my windows and my glass sliding door. Doesn't go anywhere. It's not monitored. Put it all in. I think everything was actually under $100. So at least I'll know. Somebody breaks the glass, or if they try to slide it open, if the dog doesn't go off barking, the alarm will go off. There's a good chance that's going to scare them away right there, even if they kick the door in. If you can afford a monitor system, that's even better. But realize, even when you call the police or you have an alarm monitoring system, I used to have one. The first thing ADT does is what? They call you. They call you. If they can't get a hold of you after a few minutes, then they'll contact the police and tell them. Even when you call the police, average response time anywhere now, they're saying is an average of anywhere. If it's really fast, you're looking 6 to 8 minutes. The average is 10 to 15 minutes. In my area, it's 30 to 45 minutes because I'm out in the country. They have to come from the city. So that's a 45-minute run, even if they're running lights and sirens on these country roads. So pretty much you're on your own. And a lot can happen, not just in those few seconds when you wake up, but when you start looking at minutes, a lot can happen even in 5 minutes. Your whole family could be killed in 5 minutes and the perpetrator gone by the time the first unit rolls up. So it's up to you. Now, your steel doors, it's nice to have a good door and a deadbolt, but if you don't do anything as far as the hardware, it's not going to do you anything. Your door won't break, but they're going to kick it in and shatter your door jamb. Get you a striker plate. Double striker plate. One for your deadbolt, one for your doorknob. See all the holes, mounts up into your door jamb, your door locks. Now, you've got a longer plate instead of those little striker plates. Second thing is, get rid of those little screws that are in there. Get you some, or to see on the camera, get you some 3-inch long screws to put in there. And also take them out. Sorry, something in my eye going on. Eyelash thing. Take out your hinges. your screws in your hinges as well, and put some 3-inch screws in there. Make sure they really bite down. If you could afford it, and if you're going to look at doing it, you want to make a room a safe room, usually the master bedroom. Replace your inner door, which is nothing but that fabricated fake wood that you can put your fist right through, and basically somebody big enough can just jump right through it and smash through it. Replace that with an exterior steel door. You can paint them, and they can get them even look like stained like they're wood. Put you a steel door in and a frame. Remove that frame in your bedroom and your door. Put in the steel one, the same thing. And while you're doing it, you might as well stick double 2x4s around it, make it extra strong, and put those 3-inch bolts. That's going to defend somebody off for quite a bit of time. So that's going to be something that you can do. The other thing with children, when you're doing a plan, you might want to look at in one of their closets, depending on how old they are, especially if they get a little bit older. Go ahead and in the closet, replace that door with a steel door and a frame and put a deadbolt on it, so that if something happens, they know if you tell them a phrase or a keyword, they go right in that closet, they close the door, they lock it, they don't come out until you're there. So that'll give them protection. You won't have to worry as much. Striker plate, alarm systems, camera systems, lighting. Now, if you're not into weapons, firearms for defense, then I suggest you go with pepper spray. This is a police grade Saber pepper spray. This one's just a regular pepper spray. This one is pepper spray, CS gas, and ultraviolet dye. Plus this one here, get you a little clip, screw this on the wall, clip it in. I got one by my front door. I got one in my master bedroom by the door jamb. I would recommend you get several of these. Place one by your front door, maybe somewhere, one in the kitchen that you're usually around in your kitchen, maybe your sink or something, one out of the way there, maybe one in your bathroom, one in your master bedroom. Sounds like a lot, but you don't know where you're going to be when someone decides they want to kick your door in. You just don't know. So pepper spray is very good. Also, I would recommend that, I don't have any, but you can get a pepper spray grenade. It's just like the flea bombs that you get. You hold it down, it locks down, and it fogs your house. It's the same thing, but with pepper spray. So if you're in the master bedroom, you heard somebody in there or down the steps, you could pop 1 or 2 of those, throw them down there, close your door back up. It's going to fill a room or several rooms very, very quickly with pepper spray. They're not going to stick around. I don't know if you've ever been hit with pepper spray in training we were, and it's no joke. I don't care how bad you are, how big you think you are, pepper spray hurts a lot. Now, yes, there are some people that, especially on PCP and other drugs, they may not be as badly affected, but they cannot stop their mucus glands in their throat and in their nose from swelling. So they're not going to be to the full ability that they were. My recommendation is that you also get yourself a bar for your doors, your bedroom door and your living room and your back door. It just goes underneath your doorknob. This part's got a rubber foot, sits to the floor. Even with the door unlocked, I tried this when I first got it, and it adjusts, has different holes for different lengths. I tried pushing as hard as I could on the door, and I couldn't budge this to open it. So there's even more. Your friend is time. Okay, you want to keep them out if you can. If they get in, that's when you're going to have to react. Now, if you're going to react, I talked about engaging the target, my little skit in the beginning. That little pie in the corner and all tacked out and the mask and all that, that's not going to happen. But if you are going to use a weapon, you want to get you a good flashlight, little LED flashlight, 30, 40 bucks. They go up in hundreds of dollars. This one's about $30. It's got the strobe and everything. You want to make sure you have a flashlight so you can identify the target. If you have firearms, I recommend that you get a flashlight put on it. That way you don't have to have both hands. And yes, these firearms do not have a round in the chamber. Are they unloaded? No, they're not. But there is not one in the chamber. I cleared it twice. I don't keep an unloaded magazine in my house or around me because I have no kids and I know what I'm doing. I am an NRA instructor. I am very safe with firearms. I take it very seriously. So these safety Nancy's out there that, oh, you had a round in the magazine. The round in the magazine is not going to cause a firearm to go off. Okay, it's the one that's in the chamber. All right. If you're going to use a shotgun. Even if you just have a plain old 12 gauge hunting shotgun. This one happens to have a red dot sight, which is very nice on it. It's just a regular 12 gauge hunting pump shotgun. This, right now, it does have the plug in it, which is just a little wooden dowel that you can remove. So I only have two in the chamber, two in the mag well, and one would go in the chamber. When it's not being used, and the reason I don't take it out right now to where I can put 4 rounds or 5 rounds into the mag well is because that one stays in my gun safe. This is one that's on the wall, in a clip on the wall. This one does not have a choke in it. It's got an 18-inch barrel, and it does have a light. This one happens to be a red tack light. Why red? Because red will not mess up. Anybody in the military will know that red will not mess up your night vision. It is still very high intensity, and it will still shine up very well. I've taken this outside at night when I hear coyotes out there and I have to take the dog out, and that red light will shine past my neighbor's house down there at 150 yards. I can see with no problem. It is a very good tack light. They are very expensive, but worth it. This one has 6 rounds, and I have 5 more in that. Now, the difference between these two is if I shoot somebody with this in a home defense situation, or that one, this is the bad black gun, okay? They're going to look at this, that this was set up because I'm just crazy, and it's got the sliding stock on it. Modified it off an M16 stock. Kind of built this myself, so. But the same thing as if you're going to use an AR-15. This is my AR-15 that I built. Okay, so it's got the bipod. It's got a police tactical flashlight that's mounted on the grip. I've got green laser. I got a double magazine. Yes, these are loaded. Okay, got pop-up sights, and I got a halogen sight on it. You can use an AR-15 for home defense. In the military, they tell you the reason you use your pistol is to get to your rifle. Okay, pistol works fine though for home defense. You're not out shooting long range. An AR-15 will work fine as well. Just be cautious of what ammo you're using. You don't want to load it up with armor piercing. But do some research if you're going to do that and look at your ammo. Also, the caliber pistol you're going to use. You're going to go with a 45. That's got a lot of punch and knockdown, but it's also got a lot of penetration, depending on the round that you use. If you break out the 44 Magnum, you're probably going to stop them. But how many homes are you going to go through? Okay? Your 9mm, that's what I go with. I mean, I have my 12 gauge in the AR, but I also have a 9mm on my nightstand, and I carry a Glock 9mm Gen 5. So if you're going to do firearms, and even if you're not, make sure you have a light. If it's not on the firearms, make sure you have a good light in your bedroom. The pepper spray, the lights, the bars. Keep a light on in your home. I usually keep a little LED that's over the stove in the kitchen, so at least there is some light. I have the back porch light and front porch light, but keep you some lights on. That way, if you do have to engage anybody, especially like in the bedroom, that light in the kitchen lights up this whole area, and where I came from was my bedroom. So there's still a light out in this area. So if somebody even came into my bedroom door, my bedroom is going to be dark. It's going to open. They're going to be silhouetted inside the doorway with the light behind them. So it's going to be pretty much easy target acquisition. In Kentucky, and I want to read you this because every state's different. Please, in the state you're in, go through and find out what your laws are. But in Kentucky, we have Kentucky Revised Statutes 503.055, use of defensive force regarding dwelling, residence, or a vehicle. Person is presumed to have held a reasonable fear of imminent peril or death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another when using defensive force that is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm to another. The person against whom the defensive force was used was, this is key, in the process of unlawfully and forcibly entering or had unlawfully and forcibly entered a dwelling, residence, or an occupied vehicle. In the state of Kentucky, if they're in the process of forcibly entering, I can engage them with deadly force. That means I don't have to wait for them to be in my home. You kick in my door, you're still on the porch, I can shoot you dead on the porch. If you break in a window and you're just at the window, I can still shoot you. Some states, they tell you they have to be inside your residence. That's ridiculous, but some states' laws say that. So pay attention to what your laws are. Also, with the Kentucky, it says that any person that uses force or attempts to enter a person's dwelling, residence, or occupied vehicle is presumed by law to be doing so with the intent to commit an unlawful and an act involving force and violence. So the law tells you that if someone's trying to do it, they're already telling you that they are known that they're going to be using force and violence. So it goes back to the first part that you're allowed to use deadly force. So again, Kentucky has some pretty good information. This is the one that I like in Kentucky. Even a lot of Kentuckians don't know it. 503.085, justification in criminal and civil immunity. Immunity, person's use of permitted force. Person who uses force as outlined in that other section and some other ones that is justified to use the force is immune from criminal prosecution and civil action for the use of such force unless the person against whom the force was used is a peace officer and in the act of their duty. Performance of his or her duty. In accordance with any applicable law, use of force unreasonable. All right. The term criminal prosecution includes arresting, detaining, in custody, and charging or prosecuting the defendant. A law enforcement agent may use standard procedures to investigate the use of force as described in subsection 1 of this section by the agency, but they may not, I say again, they may not arrest the person for use of force, including deadly force, unless it is determined that there is probable cause that the force that was used was unlawful. So if you do everything by the law, they can't arrest you, they can't detain you in the state of Kentucky. And the court shall award reasonable attorney's fee, court cost, compensation for lost income, all expenses incurred by the defendant in any defense and any civil action brought on by a plaintiff if the court finds that the defendant is immune from prosecution in subsection 1. Kentucky has some seriously good laws as far as that stuff. Look at some of my notes. I think I covered everything. I want to run down them. Dogs are good. I mean, that's another warning system. Kick resistant plates. That's that little plate that I was showing you to help protect your door. A safe room, again, steel doors are wonderful. They're not very expensive. Shrubs and everything, flowers, trimmed, lights outside. If you have a knock on the door, never open it without looking, asking first, and making sure that there's no one hiding. And also teach your kids to never, under any circumstances, open the door. Unless, of course, they know it's a family member or something like that, but that's your call. But home defense is something very serious. It's only going to get worse in this country. It's getting worse everywhere in all nations. But in this country, we have a right in most states, like Kentucky, where we have some really good laws to protect ourselves. So it's up to you to defend yourself, your property, your home, your family. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, there's a lot of videos out there. That's why I did that little demonstration in the beginning. For those who joined, if you didn't see the little demonstration, after this is over and it's on our Facebook, go back and watch it. Even if you don't want to listen to the whole thing again, me ranting on, go back and watch it. Hopefully it came out good. I did a practice run, just videoing it on my laptop and the music and everything, and it seemed to come out pretty good. So I'm hoping it did for this video, just a little fun that I was having, little dramatization. But I hope some of this was helpful. I hope it's some things, mostly common sense, but I hope it gives you something to think about. Think about your protection of your family and what your family is worth to you. And on that note, while you're thinking about what your family, the value of your family, the value of your life, think about the Watchman. I can't move out of the way. The Watchman of America. Watchman of America for $39.95 a month. I'm sorry, got that wrong. Don't jump on me, Freebird. $39.95 a year membership. you can join the Watchmen of America. You can check at watchmenofamerica.com and you can click on the links to the states and see if there's an active state chapter in your group. I am the commander for the state of Kentucky, and anyone in Kentucky that wants to join, you can go to the watchmenofamerica.com, click on the state link. There's a spot on that state link. My picture's there. Even though it might scare you, don't let it hold you off. But you can click there and you can submit. And when you submit a little form that you'll fill out, it goes straight to me, and then I will get back with you and we can do the other forms. If you have any questions, you can also submit them and we'll talk to you about it. But it gives you peace of mind because we're a family, we're a community, we're in many states. We have a national organization and we have Skype rooms. We talk all the time. We have meetings. We talk about current events. We stay up on things that are going on around the country, around the world. We pass this information on. We pass it on to our members. And we like to build our membership, especially in the States, so that we can help one another. So that if something happened, you have people there besides family, or if you don't have any family in the state, that can help you out and pull you through things. You also, with that, you get your very own Rothko catalog. And this sucker is huge, jam-packed full. And I'll get this one right, Freebird. You get the items not at a deep discount. You get them at factory cost. The only thing you do is pay shipping. Trust me, the savings alone, if you're going to buy any kind of gear, from tack gear, vest, clothing, hats, belts, gloves, police gear. I work security part-time and I have bought police gear, tactical gear, knives, belts, bags, you name it, it's in here. So even if you bought just a couple items, you would spend a lot more somewhere else to get these. So a lot of benefits with the Watchman. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope, even though it was a lot of common sense, that this helped some people. Thank you all for watching. Again, I am Old Veteran. I am the commander for the Kentucky chapter of the Watchmen of America. Stay safe. God bless y'all. God bless our country. Good night.